All right, so let me set this up with what you haven't seen in the last few minutes.
All right, well, let me start the beginning part.
Okay.
Because I can get there. So Brad Stainbrook is a young guy. I don't know Brad. He covers. He's been in the last year, I would say, started to make a little bit of a name for himself covering the Browns, and good for him. He's a young guy. Is he still in college?
I believe he's still in college.
So he's a young guy. All right, he's trying to, come up here.
Trying to cut his teeth a little bit.
And I'll be honest, like, if I don't know you, I've been covering the Browns here for 12 years. I didn't know who he was when he first started. I didn't really give him any credibility in the beginning because I didn't know who the hell he was. And then about a month ago, whatever it was, he actually had the story about the Browns signing Hurst. He broke that story. Mm-hmm. He was the first one that had it. So I put out a tweet there. I think you did too.
Yeah.
We gave him a little props for that.
Threw him a bone.
So good for him. He broke that story. It gave him at least some level of credibility in terms of covering the Browns. Well, today he tweeted this out, and this was at 10:27, which is 44 minutes ago. He said, source, Browns Greg Newsome would like to be traded. Now, he didn't say he's demanded a trade, but he said he'd like to be traded. And this was it was weird timing in a way because they just announced, I think yesterday, that Greg Newsome was hosting a charity softball game with the Browns. And even though there'd been some rumblings in the past that Greg Newsome was unhappy in playing the slot corner role, I think we all thought it was behind us, so this seemed odd. Now, he did sign with Drew Rosenhaus, who's obviously a big-time power agent.
When did he do that?
Today. So,
about 10 minutes before Brad tweeted that out, for the record.
Right, exactly. Welcome, Greg Newsome. There's Drew Rosenhaus. That was right. So then 10 minutes later, Brad puts that out. Then Adam Schefter puts out this tweet. You got the Adam Schefter tweet here, the first one?
I have all the tweets. As soon as you start going, we'll pull
all
it
right,
up.
so bring up the Adam Schefter tweet. About 10 minutes after Brad Stainbrook put that out, he said, Schefter says, amid speculation that his client, Greg Newsome, wants to be traded, agent Drew Rosenhaus met today in Cleveland with the team to discuss Newsome's future role there. Quote, Greg is happy to be with the Browns, Rosenhaus said. Everything was very positive, and Greg is happy with his. Do we have the continuation of that or no?
No, it's the new Twitter update, but he's very happy with his role in the Browns, is what that goes on to say.
And it was expected to be at the first offseason, OTAs is this coming Monday. That's correct? Or next Monday, next week.
On Monday, and he is
expected to be there. Okay.
Now, since then, here's what you've missed.
Yeah.
Well, Greg Newsome responded to Brad's tweet himself. Let's take the Greg Newsome tweet, Anthony. Pull it up. This is what Greg Newsome said in response to this. Okay, y'all, sit back a minute and let's think about this together. I just launched a softball game in Cleveland, laughing face emoji. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah. It didn't make sense.
Mary Kay has also come out explicitly, and you can take Mary Kay's tweet, Anthony, cut to it live, saying Browns Greg Newsome has not asked to be traded. So I think we're going to put it officially to rest that Greg Newsome has not requested a trade.
Okay, well, that's good. Brad dropped the ball here.
But I will say that there is some semantics here.
There is semantics.
It's a lot to be said.
That's fair.
That he didn't ask for a trade. He said he would like to be traded, according to what Brad says. So my thing here is, it's bad timing for Greg because they just got here today. And they trying to maneuver, trying to get settled. Like, they trying to be like, hey, because here at this point, Bull, what good would it be to ask for a trade right now, right before the draft?
Right. It feels to me like, listen, I'm sure Brad is just coming up. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I doubt he just made this up out of thin air.
Yeah.
Okay? Probably somebody told him that Greg Newsome would like to be traded. Now, he probably should not have tweeted that out because he didn't demand a trade.
Right.
And with the softball thing yesterday, and you see him hire Drew Rosenhaus, so I could understand the connection there. Brad probably would have been better off not tweeting that because, yes, maybe he does want to be traded, but he's not. If he's not asking for a trade, it's not really a story.
And Brad,
let me give you a quick example. Sorry to cut you off, but there was a player. I'm not going to say it was. I've mentioned this story a couple times, but I don't know if I've said it here. I'll never admit who the player was. But there was a player who played for the then Indians for a long time here. Okay? And I met him in spring training a couple of years in a row. And we were talking off the air, and he goes, man, I hate it in Cleveland. He wanted to be out. He never said it publicly. He never demanded a trade. He played here for a while. He was a popular player.
And then I got up out of here.
And eventually he left via free agency. But you would have nobody ever. This never became public. I wasn't going to tweet out this player wants out of here. And again, he told me something in confidence. But sometimes you may want something. There's a big jump from want to be traded to demanding to be traded.
I want $1 million, but I'm not going to demand Steve Becker pays me $1 million.
Well, that's different. I don't think that's a perfect example. But I think Brad probably dropped the ball here.
Well, see,
not you, Brad. But
no, Brad. Sometimes this is why I don't break news. I'm an opinion guy.
Yeah.
And sometimes a lot of people give you a lot of stuff that you know that is useless.
That's
facts.
right.
Here, let me. There's
It's
a
crazy.
lot going on here.
You're right.
So Drew Rosenhaus is a guy that's going to play hardball with the Browns. Note to the Browns and Bria. This smoke is coming your way.
Oh, eventually.
It's just not right now. But the smoke is coming your way.
Yeah.
News to everybody else out here in fan land. A lot of players don't like where they are.
That's right.
They don't.
That's right.
They don't say nothing.
Yeah.
They like, man, this ain't my type of place.
That's right.
I'm a Seattle guy. I'm not from no Midwest.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get back out that way, right?
I'm from down
100%.
south.
That's how they do, right?
100%.
This
Not
is
uncommon.
It's not uncommon.
That's right.
G. Newsome. You be careful here, son.
Hey,
Be careful here, son, because you drop words like this, that comes out before the draft. Now, when I'm in the draft room, I'm looking side-eyed at Greg Newsome. Like, let me see what's happening. Is this salvage job, a Rosenhaus?
Man,
Because now I go to the draft board. Maybe I wasn't thinking corner.
Look.
Maybe I'm thinking a corner.
Yeah. I still wouldn't trade. I'm not trading
No,
him.
but I'm gonna say it here.
Yeah.
I have to prepare here. When
Sure.
you get caught blindsided, is how you get done up here.
And I think, and let's be clear, man. See, this is why I love this outlet. Look, hey, I'm speculating. I'm just reading the tea leaves. What you mean? This is what I do for a living. Look, man.
Be careful.
Hey, when they put his name in that Jerry Jeudy, when they had his name in the Jerry Jeudy mix, it was almost like, oh, for real? I'm in a Jerry Jeudy trade. Nah, here's what we're going to do. Give me Drew Rosenhaus. So they got Drew. Now, mind you, this is the same kind of move Duke Johnson did. Duke Johnson, when he was here, he was behind all them running backs, remember? Mm-hmm. He was behind Kareem Hunt and Chubb. They was like, Duke Johnson, I'm sorry, bro. He got Rosenhaus, and what he did, he came out during camp, and he was talking about, I'm going to sit out. Now, here's the thing. Newsome don't have leverage right now. Mm-hmm. The only way leverage he gets is if he gets to camp. And if he gets to camp and say Emerson gets hurt, right? He could do something. But if he gets to camp and he's still slotted in here, the only leverage he has is to sit out.
Listen, he's not a good enough player to sit out. He is not a good enough player to sit. He ain't sitting out.
You're not being disparaging. Like here, you. Let me tell you where you are.
Yeah.
Let me tell you where you are. You a good up and coming dude.
Yeah.
But you still on a prove it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he's a nice player.
Right. That's
but
like me demanding. That's like me the time I demanded more time in Chicago. I'm demanding time. Oh, you're demanding what?
Yes.
More time.
Right.
But here's the thing. Here's the ticket. And here's the thing. Here's why it's believable.
Right.
You was drafted number 1. So you're a first-round pick. Brad will tell you, it's a certain level of moxie. It's a certain level of arrogance that come, I am a first-round pick.
That lasts about 30 seconds after you get through the door, but keep coming.
The audacity, the audacity to have this man, Martin Emerson, who's very good. I don't know. See, I don't think, I'm going to be honest, I don't think Greg Newsome saw Martin Emerson was like, oh, this dude different.
He wasn't worried.
This dude different. And then Emerson came in and never relinquished that spot.
And Greg Newsome actually had a decent season. He's a good player.
Yeah.
But
we like Greg Newsome.
Greg Newsome, listen, I think it's clear Greg Newsome didn't demand to be traded. It's clear he's not 100% happy. You don't hire Drew Rosenhaus for no reason.
If everything was all good, Bull.
And it's not like he's negotiating a new deal. He's only through 2 years of his 4-year deal. Or actually, potential five.
Potential five.
So it's not like they can't even negotiate an extension right now.
Nowhere.
So obviously there's some reason. So I don't think Brad is completely wrong here. Greg Newsome, we know in the past, has not been completely happy, and he hired Drew Rosenhaus.
He just jumped out the window too early.
Yeah,
he jumped out too early.
Yes.
He needs an advocate for the things that you were about to talk about. He don't want to be in that slot.
That's right. They don't make as much money.
He want to be right on one-on-one coverage. That's where he want to be.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have. He need a mouthpiece for that.
Yeah.
Right. He not doing my man in Baltimore's move.
Right.
Like, I'm not speaking for myself.
Because Rosenhaus, what he can do, Rosenhaus can go back to other teams and say, hey, I got Greg Newsome. He's the number one corner
for you.
What you think he worth? And
yeah.
He could put the two sides together. But the Browns, they're not even thinking about negotiating. They're like, you're going to show up to camp.
That's it.
And you're going to do what
you
you're
got
going to
no
do
power.
what we're going to do.
And Drew Rosenhaus, like, he's not going to say, yeah, Greg's not happy, because everybody else can be like, who gives a crap if Greg Newsome's happy? He, as you said, like with the Ravens, we were talking about this. If Lamar Jackson plays, we'll probably predict him to win, 8 games, maybe 9, maybe even 10.
Yep.
Without him, we're picking him to win 4 or 5 or 6. The Browns win. Greg Newsome's a nice player. We all like him. We're not changing our win-loss prediction based on whether Greg Newsome's on the team or not.
No.
Doesn't change a single game.
See, now in time is different, too. Like, the team, they morphed. Like, you like before it was like we used to go crazy over minuscule parts.
Oh,
defensive, we need him to play. And now you got a quarterback. Now it's like,
shout out to my boy G Newsome for being strategic. Though.
Oh yeah,
you got to be strategic now because everybody got to represent their own interests here.
Yes.
Greg Newsome is the CEO of Greg Newsome, right? And Jimmy Haslam is the CEO of the Cleveland Browns, right? And Stefanski is the CEO of the coaching staff, right? So everybody got to represent their interests here, and sometimes if you can't do it directly, you have to get a mouthpiece to do it for you.
And the only reason he made so Brad made a misstep, Greg Newsome made a misstep when he was tweeting back and forth with people and they was asking him questions and he was saying no.
Yeah.
No,
he made a mistake there. No doubt, you're right.
He should have not said nothing.
Well, clarify that for people that might not know what you're talking about.
So Greg Newsome was tweeting back and forth with individuals, and he said, "Hey, are you going to play the slot?" And he said, "No." Then he doubled down on it a couple of weeks later. Somebody came back and asked him again, like, "So you cool with playing the slot?" No. Now here's the problem with that. You should have just went and got Drew Rosenhaus and chilled.
That's right.
If you would have did that. See, we wouldn't know what was going on, maybe some savvy fans, but the organization would have known.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, G, as you said, we'll go to you in a second, Mike. There's levels to this thing.
Levels.
Lamar Jackson's on this level. Lamar Jackson pretty much can say whatever the hell he wants.
Yep.
And eventually, like the Ravens, at the very least, he could take the franchise tag. Like, people want Lamar Jackson. He's a superstar. He's won an MVP. Yeah, he's had some injury problems. Play hasn't been quite as good, but he's still up here, okay? Greg Newsome, you're basically just a guy. I mean, nice player, potential. We like him. Nobody wants to get rid of him. But nobody, you can't stir the pot and be a pain in the ass when you're Greg Newsome.
I mean, even Jalen Ramsey got traded. Ramsey, his name is probably on name brand recognition, probably the number one corner when you say
well,
name.
and you have to think that
he got traded.
Greg Newsome knows where his strong suits are, right? And he's saying me playing in the slot is not helpful to my long-term career here. I've got to get back to that.
Yeah.
I've got to get back to that one-on-one coverage.
Right.
Is where I'm gonna thrive at, right? That's where I get that.
And maybe the Browns feel that way too, and maybe they will trade him, but they're not gonna have their hand for it.
It's like telling Brad, you know what? We want you to play 75% of the time. You like?
I like what? What did you say?
No, 4. I'm down there crashing with them.
I said, you want me to do what?
Yeah, right. Like you looking around like that ain't gonna get it done.
I'll give you some spot time.
Not 75%.
But you're not gonna small ball me up out of here.
Let's see what Mikey has to say about this. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Brad, I actually have a question about that, and this question comes from us from the USFL. If you haven't checked out the Summer Football League coming to Canton, Ohio, and around the country, make sure you check them out. The USFL, a major form of entertainment this summer. And Brad, this was going to be something we talked about tomorrow, but while you're here and Newsome is in the news, I might as well ask you. As a former player, and Gigo just alluded to that, how would you want your coaches to approach you about that conversation? Put yourself in Newsome's shoes. How would you want Stefanski and Schwartz to approach you about playing the slot? Or how should that conversation go from the player-coach perspective?
Well, I would say this from the player-coach perspective. The player has no idea. He's swimming. He doesn't know what the game plan is. How are you going to help me get better? Because I got to eat here. I got to feed families and everything else, right? So how are you helping me? Because you want me to go out here and run myself into this brick wall for you. The coach should really pull him to the side and be like, look, man, this is what I need out of you, right? Stay with me. I got your best interest at heart here. Trust me. Give me what you got,
right?
And it's gonna be okay. Somebody gotta tell him it's gonna be okay.
But hasn't that already happened? Because he did it last year.
A lot of times, let me tell you this, Bull.
Yeah.
Them coaches don't say nothing to you.
No, you may be right, but if that was gonna happen, it should have happened last year.
Yeah,
he played slot last year.
You're expecting Stefanski to be some veteran. These are veteran moves.
Stefanski just started talking this offseason.
Right.
He had cue cards before.
It's also Jim Schwartz, not Joe Woods now.
Mikey. So a veteran coach will pull you to the side, right, and say, here, I'll give you a case in point, and I keep going. I always go back to Maryland basketball. Brenda Freeze, coach of Maryland women's basketball, went to Diamond Miller and said, when everybody was bailing out of here, Angel Reese and them was bailing out of here, you stay with me. It's going to be okay. I'm going to get you where you're trying to go, which was the WNBA. Last night, Diamond Miller was the #2 draft in the WNBA draft last night.
Nice.
Because stay with me, I'm going to get you where you want to go. That's the conversation a real veteran coach.
Yeah.
She's been in the game 21 years, has to tell a player, like, I got your interests at heart.
Right.
Here.
Well, now they got Jim Schwartz at DC, so maybe that conversation, if it didn't happen, will happen now. Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead with that. That Jim Schwartz, who said that comment? Did you say Jim Schwartz?
I said Jim Schwartz is there, which changes everything, too. It's not the Joe Woods conversation. It's the Jim Schwartz conversation.
I remember Tim Kish was from Arizona. He came to OU. He came there after other coaches left, right? And he had us playing attacking upfield. I'm like, man, this is great. This is what I do. I ain't trying to play the run like that. I need to, because quarter sacks is where you get it done.
Right.
And then we got another, after we played that year, we went 1-something. They got him up out of here quickly. 1-something. Bye. And then he got the job at Indiana. And I'm like, dang, man, I learned firsthand what the coaching fraternity was. Yeah. Right at Indiana, my boy got him that I played college with. He's like, yeah, bro, he got us out here getting touched too. So, yeah. Then they brought in Tim DeRuyter. Now, Tim DeRuyter was at OU, but he eventually went on to coach Von Miller at Texas A&M. See, coach be everywhere. So when we got Tim DeRuyter, he came in and was like, he just was like, oh, you talk too much. you talk way too much, bro. You be talking like I don't care how many plays you make. You talk way too much, and you be injured. And I'm like, oh, for real? They're like, oh, he's like, yeah, and for real. So now I'm looking at him like, well, my position is threatened because now I'm getting up there. I'm a sophomore. I'm a redshirt junior at this point. They got young boys, young pups coming in. They starting to recruit from other different positions, other different states.
Head on a swivel.
And now I'm looking around like, yo, what's the deal? So now you going out. Now you got to practice harder. Yeah. Now you got to put your head down. You got to come in front of sprints because now the coach necessarily don't get hurt. Don't be in the necessarily. They don't have to like you like that. They didn't recruit you. So when you look at Greg Schwartz, they come in. All of a sudden, G New is like this. If I'm at that nickel position, if I perform too well at nickel, he's gonna keep me there, right? So even if it was Joe Woods, if Joe Woods knew him, he could be like, yeah, I don't know. We seen tape on him on the outside, right? Maybe we should bring him to the outside. They ain't gonna outright cut you. But when you got a new coach, everything's a blank slate. And when you inside, you got to think of it like this. Tyvus said it the other day. He said, you part of the run fit. The slot corner is integral to the run fit. And he's been slight of frame. He's been injury prone. Yeah. Do you want to be coming up hitting these big backs?
So to your point, for a guy like Newsome, let me tell you something. This is how you get longevity and paid. One, all right, so maybe they have you playing out of the position you want to play. Well, guess what? Ball out at that position. Mm-hmm. Give them the business, right? Even though you're mad about it, give them the business. Yeah. The other thing, be available for every game. I'm not missing a game here. Yeah. Third thing is, y'all win some games. You win some games. Now you giving Rosenhaus the ammunition you need.
Right.
Now go out and shop this. My man, now he not happy.
Right.
He part of a number of top 5 defense.
And I think it's an interesting point you bring up, G, that like, you know, we're all you want when you're a player at whatever level, you want your team to have success, but you want to have individual success.
Right.
You want to make money. I get it. And and it's an interesting thought that he's like, well, I better not play too well at slot because then I'm going to stuck there for the rest of my career and I'm not going to make as much money. However, I think he's in a point in his career where if he doesn't play well enough, like he's guaranteed.
That's why I say he has to. He has to play. He has to ball out. He's got to play well. Right?
Yes, 100%.
Period. You got to be available for every game. Period.
Yeah.
And the second
that's
thing
been a huge issue for the Browns secondary
and then
across
the
the board.
last thing is the Browns have to win.
Yeah.
You put those 3 things together, guess what? Now in the offseason, like, nah, I don't think I want to do this anymore.
Because then other teams say, well, I want that guy. He's part of a winning culture.
Well, then
he knows how to win.
The other thing is now you have a guy to say, well, hold on, well, he's valuable now because he can play the slot, he can play the one-on-one.
That's right. That's true.
He's a valuable piece now.
He's shown some
That's
different.
true.
And the cool
and
thing,
then he's young.
you can't think of it. You can't think of it. That like people tell me like, man, like the stuff y'all think about on a daily basis, I don't think about. They be like, what you mean? Well, I'm at a different point in my life. I'm just trying to get it. So, like, the stuff y'all think about, when y'all go talk to management, when I go talk to management, it's 2 different things. At certain points in your career, you just got to put your head down and ball.
That's it.
Like, you got to, I'm in my drive phase. I ain't coasting. Listen, people talk about, some guy hit me up, he said, what are you doing with your 401k? I said, I didn't even know I had one. At this point, what you talking about? Like, I still got time to go. So Greg Newsome, yeah, you might not really want to be there today, but like you said, when you start to win ball games and you start to show, you already got tape showing that you can play outside, right? When they start shifting you around, moving you around, and the Browns are successful, guess what? They're going to have you looking around. They say, man, this guy, we can bring him up. We got the number 1 corner on the board. He'll probably leave in free agency, but it is what it is.
Let me tell you who stay working in professional sports. Who stays working in professional sports? Those that can do multiple things.
Yep.
You can do a number of things. You become a valuable asset. The longer you get in the tooth, he can do that. He can do this.
Yeah.
He can do that. But when you're a one-dimensional person and that dimension runs dry, you're going to run dry.
Go ahead, Mikey. What do you got?
So we can officially close the saga on this Stainbrook, Schefter, Newsome debacle this morning. Brad just tweeted out this. Steve, take it full. He notes-apped it. I would like to apologize to Greg Newsome regarding my latest report. My goal is to be accurate and correct, and today I failed to view the entire picture, and instead I jumped the gun. To be 100% clear, I was told Greg Newsome wanted to be traded. I will never reveal where I got that information from, but I would have never even reported it in the first place if I didn't trust where I was getting information from. I am confused on why someone would lie to me regarding that information, but I will continue to improve and learn from this mistake. Again, I apologize to Greg Newsome regarding this report.
Hey, good
Brad
for him.
Stainbrook. So good for him for
Good
owning
for
up
him.
to it.
A lot of guys, and he's a young up-and-comer, and good for him, and I wish him the best. And nobody should just try to destroy his career for this. He made a little mistake. It's not a tragic mistake. And I think a lot of people won't, admit when they make a mistake. Good for him.
And listen, here's the thing, and here's what here's what I would talk to him about. I learned this one way. Well, I didn't even learn the hard way. I just learned it. I said, look, when, there's all kind of people that behind the scenes will give me information. Mm-hmm. What I do is I go to the Mary Kays. I go to the Darryl Riders. I go to some of those individuals and be like, hey, are y'all kind of hearing this? What you think about this? Right. Do you know this person? How well do you think this person is reputable?
Right.
And even if they got some conflicting information, at least I know. Because here's the thing. Those guys been in the game. If you know about it, they know about it. Right?
In most cases.
In most cases.
I did break the Terry Francona story.
If you know about it, they've heard at least some whispers of it.
Nobody had heard it when I mentioned it.
Nobody.
That was my story.
Adam the Bull is Willy Wonka.
And then 6 months later, I tried to break another story, and I was wrong. I said Monte Ball was going to sign with the Browns. I was wrong about that. But I admitted I was wrong. I had a bad source on that.
You're wrong.
And I've never tried to break news since then. I'm like, all right.
It's okay.
We hear stuff all the time. If we shared everything, like, if I meet guys I really trust, I may tell them some things off the record. But like there's a lot of things we learn that we can't say, and Brad will learn that, and good for him.
It'll mess.
If
we told y'all, it would mess your whole perception of life up. You wouldn't like football. You wouldn't like sports no more. We tell you, hey, hell, it messed me up for a little bit. That's why.
Yeah,
that's why I got
some bad stuff. And just the Johnny Manziel stories alone.
Working hard.
I could write a book on things I've heard about Johnny Manziel.